Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 9 of X Factor from the Ashes, is part 5 off the X-Manhunt written by Mark Russell. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue opened in New York City with the general meeting with Alex and Frenzy. And while she was there, the general said, "Thank you for agreeing to meet me. I know that we did not part under the best circumstances." To which Frenzy replies by saying, "Yeah, that's why we're meeting here for French hamburgers and not, at your mutant prison." And then Alex chimed in and said, "What do you want from us, still trying to hunt down McCloud?" And to that, in a small outburst, the general said, "Forget McCloud, he wasn't the first to escape Nevermore. And no mutant ever truly escapes. They just break out into a larger prison. Besides, even escapees have their uses. I'm here because I have an operation that needs to be kept off the books." To which, in a sarcastic tone, Frenzy shouted out and said, "The best way to keep something off the books is to not do it." Which was why the general followed up by saying, "The real X Factor team will be sent on another mission at the same time, so everyone will know that your operation was not theirs." Now this was rich for the general to be asking Alex to do anything, because the one favor Alex ever asked the general to do was to protect Polaris and keep her safe, and to that, of course, she failed. But to the general's credit, she was running a prison, not a protective services. So with both parties at a standstill, Alex wanted to know why should he even help. To which the general replied by answering with, "Because if you don't, Doom will soon gain mind control over the entire planet." So with that out there, we then transition a little bit ahead to both X Factor teams taking off. And as they departed, we get a narration saying, she was referring to the Fartech quantum computer X Factor had failed to destroy. The computer that powers the paperclip AI system. The computer that runs Gigosha and the neural implants of its citizens. Gigosha is a beta test for the rest of the planet. It was the world's most dangerous technology. And if history is any guide, the world's most dangerous technology and the world's most dangerous people usually find each other. So with the mission on, Alex and Frenzy sat in the cockpit and asked each other if they were the only ones who were supposed to be on this mission. To which the people in the back, who chose to tag along, replied by saying they thought they needed a doctor, which explained Cecilia, and as for Zyber, he just plain old missed them and wanted to be able to wear his own clothes on a mission. With that explained, Alex couldn't help but to ask for Granny's reason for coming, which was funny, because she was like, "Oh, is this the wrong plane?" So with that explained, and the team established, we then jumped over to Chechnya, where the computer was being held with a narration saying, thought X Factor had failed to destroy the quantum computer. They did capture the jet of the Chechen pirates who apparently stole it. So luckily, we had the exact coordinates of their base and their flight computer. So speaking of being able to track them, we then see Cyanan saying, "I have assured Doom that we have the computer in our possession. Trident, how do you think he will reward us? Because what can you buy with money that you can't buy with fear?" So as they continued to talk, an alarm went off, which caused them to report to their battle stations. And once they were there, all they saw was Granny just walking up to them saying, "Oh, I love a brisk walk in the morning." And without any threat present, the Chechens opened fire. And open fire they did, as rounds after rounds poured into her. See, it wasn't just bullets, but rockets as well. And as the smoke cleared, Granny just stood there unfazed by the mayhem. So with Granny causing a distraction, Alex picked that moment to make their move, and shot his blast through the wall in front of them while saying they're doing this to keep everyone from becoming a Doombot. So as the plasma ripped through the wall, the Chechens quickly turned their attentions towards the new gaping hole in their base. So with the mission on, Frenzy shouted for Alex and Zyber to hurry before they realized they are there. To which Alex added, "Remember Cyanan emits deadly gas, so try not to break his helmet." So with that established, Frenzy then stated, "Even if we destroy the quantum computer, won't Farthing just build another one?" So with her statement out there, Alex responded by saying, "You know how there are certain points in history when there are perfect solutions that solve everything? Well, this isn't one of those. But at least this buys us time." So once they got into the room, Alex shouted for Zyber to fry that thing, to which he answered by saying, "I'm afraid. Sooner or later, one of these electromagnetic pulses I generate will kill me." Following that info dump, Alex replied with, "I know, and I wouldn't ask if the stakes weren't so much bigger than any of us. But if Doom gets his hands on that thing, the world as we know it would be gone." And just as he said that, the door Frenzy was keeping closed was blasted open. So at that point, it was now or never. And on the next page, we see that Zyber chose now, and let out a massive EMP attack on the quantum computer. So with the computer fried, Frezzy wasted no time taking out Trident and escaping with Alex as he withdrew with Zyber in hand. And as they drove away, we get another narration saying, even though it worked, there was a slight flaw with our plan. Because Black Wolf had seen 2 members of X Factor on this mission, which meant they had to take them prisoner. So with this new problem on their hands, we then see Granny checking in on Zyber in the back with Cecilia. Because after his last EMP attack, he found himself laid up in bed. And as they spoke, Zyber asked Granny, is it possible to feel pain in your bones? And how do you do it? How are you not afraid to die? To this, Granny answered by saying, after I lost my husband, my kids, everyone I ever loved, I lost my fear of dying, which made me realize that it was never life I was afraid of losing, but love. You want the advice of an 80% sane old lady? Well, this is it. Worry about filling your life with love. Death will take care of itself. With that advice given, Cyanin went on to ask Havok what does he has planned for them. To which Alex answered with, we're taking you to Nevermore, they've got a mutant prison. Comfy cells that come equipped with a smart fridge. Not a great outcome, I'll admit. And normally, I wouldn't make it my problem, but I don't see that I have any other option. And to that, Cyanin started to laugh, which prompted Alex to ask what was so funny. And to this, Cyanin answered by saying, we monitor all official X Factor traffic. And they know this, that's why they set both missions at the same time. Which did, I admit, fool us. But, then again, they fooled you as well. Tell me, did you never wonder where the official mission is headed, or why they would want you on the other side of the world while they did it? Now with that information out there, Alex's eyes shot open as we transitioned over to somewhere over Colombia. And as the official team approaches their target, Prio points out that the plane feels a little light. To which, Angel answers with, it doesn't matter, I could do this whole mission by myself. And all Prio has to do is take the wheel until he needs him. So as Angel flew solo through the air and descended through the sky and landed before a temple in the forest. And almost instantly, he started to lay siege to the base of operations until Polaris walked out. And in a fit of rage, Polaris shouted, what the hell, Warren? I have a doorbell, you know. Where have you been anyway? You must have been there for amnesia, because I have magnetic powers, remember? So as Polaris attempted to use her ability, Angel just kept walking towards her and answered her question by saying, and I have the power of unbelievable health insurance, and wings made of non-ferrous metal. So with Polaris having no control over Angel, we then jump back to Alex freaking out saying, assuming you're telling the truth, then at least I have 3 prisoners to trade. As Cyanin answered with, is Nevermore you speak of, we know it. We were prisoners there once, but we escaped and made a sacred vow to never return. So with no more moves available to the Chechens, Cyanin then proceeded to smash his helmet and say, better that we all die together. So with his helmet cracked, we get a narration saying, our fear of ending up in their prisons and our desires to make it in their world have made us useful to them, have made us see each other as commodities. They have made it impossible for us to trust each other or trust ourselves. Our biggest crime is not that we sold ourselves out, but that we let someone else set the price. And with that said, this issue comes to an end with Angel standing before a defeated Polaris as Havok and his team are forced to abandon ship. Now down in the comment section below let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.